Today I have Tony Riley with me. We talk about the bright side of broken, overcoming those little challenges, finding the bright side of the dark things in life. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see I'm in a new place and a new live guest. I'm excited and dreading, all in the same. This is my friend Tony Riley. Here's why I'm dreading, because I am very empathetic.
Oh.
So I know what we're going to talk about is going to bring tears, but not because of what you're saying or what I'm feeling, what I know they're going to feel.
Wow.
So I've already gone through that.
Okay.
And so I'm already like feeling those emotions. But anyway, we have been, like, you're like, what are you, 54?
Wow, you're good. I am. I didn't know we were going to be sharing that, but yes, I am.
Well, because I'm 55.
Okay, very nice.
And where were you born?
I was born in Illinois.
I was born in Illinois.
You were?
I was born in Rockford.
Ah, I was born in Park Ridge. So.
Okay, and I don't know where it is because I was a year old. But you were a massage therapist.
I am.
I was.
I didn't know that either.
Triathlons, running, like we have been in the same circles, doing the same thing, like male and female version, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yet still, and I remember speaking in person one time prior to this. Do you?
I remember at least one time.
On the bike,
Yes.
one of Betsy's bike rides. That was
Yes. Wow.
That was it to my knowledge.
Okay, we did have other conversations, brief.
Okay.
That was
Like at a race or something?
It was actually Fort Worth, running in Fort Worth.
Yeah, yeah.
With Luke Slocker.
And we have a million people,
And that was
friends in common.
20 years ago.
Yeah. But then I just know, so a lot of people don't like social media. I love social media because I use it for the good, right? It can be used for bad, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I remember your life change because of social media. But I don't know what it was exactly. And I know you have an incredible book. The title's incredible, which was that the hardest part to think of? You know?
Okay, this is crazy. Okay, so the way that title came out, you want me to tell you the story?
Yeah.
I guess you do since we're here, right? So I was struggling with the title of my book. I had no idea. And I was thinking, okay, so in the Bible it talks about breaking down metal. Like when you make a gold ring, it has to go under fire, right? So I was thinking, okay, metallurgy, I believe is the word, where it's like the process of refining gold and refining metals, and how when you do that, you have to be under fire, right? But it's not pretty until after it's not fully made, until after it's finished, right? So I was thinking of something along those lines, because all of the things that I've been through have been extremely difficult, but if I had not gone through those things, I wouldn't be where I am today, which is in a very good place. So I was like, okay, well, that title is not exactly what I'm looking for. So I was on a girls' trip. Well, before that, I was I was having a really bad day, and I went to bed. And sometimes when I'm having a really bad day, and right before I go to sleep, I'll pray for God to wake up with a song. Like, that's how he speaks to me. Like,
Yeah.
give me a song. But I didn't this time. I didn't pray that. I just went to bed upset. I woke up the next morning with this song in my head. And part of the lyrics is, everything's going to be okay. So I had that song in my head, and I was like, okay, God, I didn't pray for that, but are you giving me that? Is that from you, or is that just me? And so I forgot about it, totally forgot about it, went for a run, came back home, took my son to school, I was driving into work, and that song came on. Just totally lost it. Okay, fast forward after that, I'm with some friends on a girls' trip in the car, and we're driving to Fredericksburg, and two of my friends, I have a friend in the passenger seat and two friends in the back seat, and I'm driving, and they know about this story. The song comes on. My friend in the passenger seat says, "That's the name of your book." Like, oh my gosh, so I was like going 50 miles an hour. I had to pull over to the side of the road because it was just this whole big experience. Like, wow, that was really profound. So there's a song by Mercy Me called "The Bright Side of Broken." That's where I got the title from.
So, and it's funny, you asked me on the phone last week,
Yes.
is it okay if I talk about God?
Yeah, because I can't not.
Yeah, and I'm like, and it's so funny because I don't, you're much more vocal about it on the socials, right? Whereas I'm like, I just do my thing. I'm not like, I don't need organized
Put it out
religion, you
there.
know what I mean? I know there's higher power.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was thinking of this, anyway. So let's go to what happened. Because when my parents passed, I let the world know
Yes.
with a video.
I remember.
16,000 people saw it. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
get it out, let it
Yeah.
go, and
Yeah.
if you didn't know, you're not close to me, right? But
And that was quite an experience for you, I'm sure, because your
But I think-
parents passed away within,
45 minutes.
I was going to say 50 minutes. So,
But I think it's like everything happens the way it's supposed to. Like I was so at peace with it, but
but then you're left behind, like having to deal with
you're not the leader of everything, you know. But the empire,
the empire of it all, right?
Yeah.
And an orphan
So-
at the same time.
meh. But what? So what happened in your life?
Well, there's quite a few stories in here. And the book starts with my husband who passed away from cancer.
Okay.
And that's been about 8.5 years now. And that's another God story in itself, but he was an atheist.
Ouch.
And when we got married, I was not a Christian.
Okay.
So 6 months after we got married, I became a Christian, and that's a whole nother story in itself, which led me to that moment.
What kind of cancer?
Colorectal.
Okay. And did it like just come out of nowhere, or was it like this slow?
It was a long, slow process. So he was diagnosed when our son was 7 months old, and he passed away when our son had literally just turned 8, like 3 days prior to the day he passed away. He turned 8. So that was 8 years of roller coaster ride. Thought he would be better, and then he wasn't, and then, oh, maybe he'll be better, and it was just there was a lot of hope and that he would be healed. But
And now, how old is he?
Adam, or my son,
No, your husband.
so my husband that passed away, when he passed away, he was 57,
Okay. And you were how old?
46.
I mean, that's just a lot. I mean, it's like, and so I became a death doula a couple years ago because I've learned to be at peace with it all. And so I help people who are terrified of dying. I'm like, but that's the actual end goal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because
it's to get to that point, right?
right, as I say,
and,
none of us are getting out of here alive. So
Yeah, and it's funny. I heard
it's the finish line.
Sadhguru yesterday in a podcast. He said that these people that believe in this heaven's this magical place, go now. Like, we have this incredible place here right now. If you're living in Florida and you hate it, you're gonna move. So why would you not go now? Like, so many people don't know what's somewhere else, but we have to make the most of what's right here.
That's right.
And it all kind of ties in. But yeah, I you know, that's just. So then that didn't inspire the book.
There's a whole slew of things that inspired the book. Just
Okay.
a whole number of tragic things in my life that brought me to now. And I have to admit that there were times where I felt like I was a victim. Like,
Yeah.
Why God? Why is this happening? Why me? But then if you start to look back, you can see okay, well, if this bad thing didn't happen, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have had this opportunity. And if this bad thing didn't happen, then I wouldn't have had this good opportunity or this good thing happen. So everything that has happened that is tragic has a good.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there really are no bad things. It's how you
Right.
choose to see that thing.
Exactly.
Everything is a choice.
Exactly.
And
I'd
so
be
it's-
preaching to the choir to you. And
I just got goosebumps. I just got goosebumps right here. Like it's,
Yeah.
but it's like there's, I mean, and I have family members that, like my sister, after
I have family members.
I just covered the mic.
Yeah. Why don't you lift that mic up just a tiny bit? Just a tiny bit. There we go. I have family members.
So I have family members who, my sister, who she, after the parents passed in June, in like New Year's Eve, that next one, they wanted to do these balloons and let go of all the bad things. I said, I have nothing to let go of.
Oh.
Because it was the way it was supposed to be, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you look at it, if you break it down, like my mom was like, I'm ready to go. I'm 80 something, it's my time. And I was initially like, no, you know, and I have spent plenty of my life as a victim. Then I'm like, hold on, you know, like it's, I'm to blame. I got to take ownership of how I'm feeling, you know? So,
Yeah.
and unless, you know, you probably heard people say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I got to where I got it from Mel Robbins, but I got tired of it. I'm like, it means nothing. Like when someone says they're sorry for your loss and they're sorry, they don't know what to say. Where someone says, I can't imagine what you're going through. If I can do anything for you, let me know. That now means something because it's like, I finally was like, what are you sorry for? You know,
Yeah.
just like, what? You know,
Yeah.
and they're,
Yep.
and they just don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But it becomes that word you're like, I don't want to hear it.
And sometimes people don't know how to, they don't know what to say because they've
Yep.
never been through it. So I don't know if you found this, that did you lose friends from
No,
that
I
didn't
don't
know how to,
Oh, I know. I don't
how to
think
talk
so.
to you or how to, like what to say to you?
I mean, I have definitely pulled back from people years ago who had cancer because I didn't know what to do. I don't know, you know, I've done it myself. So,
There you go.
but
That
it's one of those
happens
things-
sometimes too.
It-
They
you-
don't know how to deal with it.
I think silence is okay. You don't have to have, you know, as a guy, we have to fix everything, right? Like if a female's crying, how can I make you stop crying? You know, we're dumb, but I think it's one of those things that just say what you think or feel. Like I can't imagine, or I can imagine to an extent, you know, but it's also, you know, grief is a journey. It's not just this thing you have and it goes away. It will come back weird times, and it's just like you just got to write it out.
Yep.
And I know some people who lose a family member or something, and they go get medicated because they can't cry randomly. I'm like, you're supposed to feel what you feel.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So that's one.
That's one
Piece.
That's one piece.
Give me another piece. Give me another piece of broken.
So, I was in Boston when the bombs went off. I don't know if you knew that.
Were you running?
I was running. And you know how far a marathon is. It's 26.2 miles. I was at mile 26 when that second bomb went off. There were two
I
bombs
just
going
got
off.
goosebumps. Again.
And there were all these things that had happened up to that moment that I obviously didn't see. Nobody saw that coming, except for the people that were planning it.
Wow.
But I had woken up with a sore throat. I wasn't feeling right. I'm like, oh, I just feel ugh. And I had, I got up, and I was with Jennifer McAllister and Shamin Fickard. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah.
We used to train together, and we had all qualified together. So this was like a big moment for us. So we had gotten to the start line, and we were late to the start line. Like our corral had already gone, so we were like, it doesn't matter. Like we
Yeah.
were all freaking out, but it's like it doesn't matter.
We're here.
You can still run. You're not going to lose any time. You have a chip, right? So we're running, and we've always told each other, the three of us have told each other, if you're having a good race, go. Don't wait for us. Just go have your race. Your race is your race. But for some reason this day, I was like to Jennifer McAllister, I was like, why don't we just stay together? Let's just stick together this time, and we can talk and whatever. Help each other get through the race. So we had stopped one time because we saw Team Hoyt. Are you familiar with them?
Yep.
So we saw them, and that's the father and the son who he pushes his son in the stroller. So they're well known in the running community. And so we stopped and got a picture with them, and we kept running, and I had to go to the bathroom all of a sudden, which is something that happens to me every single marathon, where it's not number one.
I was going to ask.
So, yep. So I was like, and I was so frustrated, and I already wasn't feeling right? So I was calling Jennifer's name. I call her Jenny Mac. I'm like, Jenny Mac, Jenny Mac. She didn't hear me, so she kept running because she had one earphone in. So she kept running. And I was like, I was so mad. So I go to the bathroom, I come out, and there was a mirror on the back of the porta potty door. And I looked in that mirror and I said, God, I don't understand why does this happen to me every time I do a run. And so I got out, I came out, I looked in the mirror and I said, okay, just get yourself together and just get done with this. So something that Jenny Mac had said a few days prior to this was, she was telling me about how the God is our God of our moments and the God of our details. So no matter what, he's in charge ultimately, right? So got back out, was running, and heard a big boom, looked up in the sky. Well, I had thought, okay, this must be for a greater purpose, that I had to stop to go to the bathroom, right? So I was like, okay, you're the God of my moments, you're the God of my details, this must be for a greater purpose. So kept running, hear the boom, look over, this couple on the side of the road were like, there's all these crowds in Boston, and
Yeah.
and they're all cheering, and they're like, bombs away, ha 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 ha. They were like all laughing, like they're drunk. And I'm just gonna keep going. And if they only knew at that time what that it really was, a bomb. Wow. So I was right around the corner. So Boylston, Hereford to Boylston Street, it's 2 turns. So it's a right and then a left. And I was right about to make that right-hand turn to make a left to the finish line.
So you didn't get a finish.
So I didn't finish, but I was right there.
That is,
So we got stopped by a police officer and a Boston Marathon official, and I was like, what?
what'd we do?
Yeah, like I didn't, I had looked up in the sky, like, okay, it's not thunder. I didn't know what the boom sound was, but I just was like, okay, whatever, kept running. And I'm like, why are we getting stopped? And then I was trying to figure out, like, okay, so are we gonna, like, when they start the time again, right? Like, all I'm thinking about
Yeah.
is my time and my,
Did you pause your watch?
pause my watch, yes. And people were criticizing that about
Yeah.
people stopping their watch. That's
how
how it is. You don't even think about it, you just do it. So anyway, so then we hear that it was, in fact, 2 bombs that had gone off. So I realized that at that moment, like, that was God protecting me.
Yeah.
That was his protection. It wasn't my time yet.
Now, do you think, though, there's like signs or signals all the time? We just don't ever see them?
Yes, because we're
Yeah.
thinking about other things.
I had this client one time, and she was like, one of her things she wanted to do is she wanted to have a better relationship to God, or listen to God. I don't know, something like that. I was like, look, God's talking to you. You got to shut up. Like, you're doing so much of this other crap. You got to just shut up and listen.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I think that's where, that it's not victim mentality, but you're like worried about, why is this happening? I guess it is. Why is this happening to me?
It is.
Well, it's happening for this reason,
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
So God taught me through that to not be a victim, because there's all purpose in it. It's
Calm
all-
down.
Yeah, it's all, and God speaks very quietly. So, and it's how, and everybody hears him in a different way. It's not necessarily audible. It could be through music. It could be through scripture. It could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
through, just a soft voice that, or a thought that isn't your thought. Like,
Well,
is
it's-
that you? Is that me? Is that you? Is
I
that
don't know if you've heard this. When you meditate, well, when you pray, you're talking to God. When you meditate, He's God talking to you, right? So I meditate every morning, and I'm just like tuning the dials, or I just think I have this very unique relationship with God. Like He's going to gather His friends up there and go, "Watch this." You know what I mean? Or,
Yes.
or I think it's going to be so
But
funny.
he
if-
does have a sense of humor.
Yeah, and I'm like, what if we get there and he's like, I don't know why they called me God. My name's Doug. You know what I mean? Like that would be so funny to me. But I've had those moments like that where I'm like, what am I gonna do? And then all of a sudden, something happens. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
unbelievable. So my audience is mainly the self-help, the fix yourself kind of whatever, and that's why you really connect. But why should people read this book?
Well, I think this book is tailored to people who are looking for the good in their own circumstances. I'm also, my purpose is for people to recognize the goodness of God, because a lot of people think that He's, especially with everything going on in the world, that God is, where is He? Why isn't He saving us? Why isn't He here? Why? Why? Again, that victim mentality.
Yeah.
But to help them see the goodness and see, okay, so if I look at my own life, try to help people look at their own lives and say, okay, what is it that you don't see goodness? If you don't see goodness in this, let's take a look. Let's dig deeper and see, okay, let's look at your circumstance or your story. Let's dig in deeper and see where that goodness is, because it's there. You just have to, you have, again, like you said earlier, you have a choice of how to see it. So there are questions in the book that prompt, there is some journaling in there that you can write.
Homework.
Yes. So.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thank you, Tony, for being on here. I'll put links in the comments where they can get the book, your website, so you can get spammed by everybody. No. And we will probably have a second episode very soon or in the future. Thanks, guys.